Hi everyone, it's Miss Tasha here, and today I will be teaching you guys this really pretty Japanese Torii Gate. And the supplies that I will be using, I have a watercolor palette, watercolor paper, paper towel, cup of water. You can see I have reused this one a lot. And I have 3 brushes. I have a larger round brush, a medium round brush, and a little detail brush that I will be using for outlining. If you guys aren't comfortable outlining with a brush, or if you don't have a little detail brush, a black marker works just as well. It does not have to be Sharpie. And I just want you guys to know you don't have to have the same supplies as me. If you want to use your markers or your crayons or your colored pencils, that works just as well. And I know right now it's tough to buy paper towels, so if you are reusing a paper towel from a previous art lesson, that's awesome. I do it all the time. If you are using watercolor and not watercolor paper, be careful about how much water you put on there, because thinner paper will crumble and tear, so I recommend you use something thicker. Let's get started. I'm going to get started with my larger round brush. I'm going to use the lightest pink I have. And I'm not going to paint all the way to my edges just because I want to help keep my paper from curling up. And I'm really going to dab along here more than do brush strokes. I want it to look a little splotchy. I'm going to do this on about half of my paper. And you guys want to make sure you're not blending this in so it looks like one solid color. You want to see the differences in the little dark spots and the white spots. I do want you guys to use pinks for this, just because it'll look more like cherry blossoms, which you see in Japan in the springtime. I want you guys to be careful when you're dabbing that you're not smushing your brush. You want to use kind of the side to dab, just so that way you don't ruin your paintbrush. So I've got about half of my paper dabbed with that light pink. Then I'm going to take a slightly darker pink, and I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to leave out this area. So all of this is going to get that medium pink. And again, I'm not blending in any of my lighter pink. I'm really just letting the splotches stand out. And once you're happy with that, I'm going to use one more pink. I'm going to use the darkest pink I have. going to just add another layer, and I'm gonna leave kind of this area out. I'm not really blending anything, I'm just dabbing. And even though I didn't blend, you can kind of see a color gradient here just because I used my lighter pink and then my medium pink and my darker pink. I'm gonna rinse my brush, and next I'm gonna use a tan color. And if you don't have a tan, you can use a really light yellow or really light orange. I'm gonna go from the bottom. I'm gonna paint side to side. But as I go up, you can see it kind of starts to make a triangle shape. When I'm done with that, I'm gonna rinse my brush off, and I'm gonna use a light green, and I'm gonna dab again, just along the sides here. And right where my triangle of tan stops, that's kind of where I'm gonna stop with my green. Again, I'm not really blending, I'm kind of leaving when I have darker splotches and lighter splotches. If you want to give this a little bit of a curve in the background to make it look a little less flat, you can do that, or you can leave it flat. And when we are done with that, I'm gonna rinse off that brush and pat it dry on my paper towel. I'm gonna switch to my medium brush. And I'm gonna find, I have two browns here. This one's the lighter one. I'm gonna use the lighter brown. And just on the very edges here, I don't wanna go too much into my picture. I'm gonna add a little bit of tree branches up in my cherry blossoms. And they don't all have to be connected. I don't want you guys to go too far into the middle of your paper because you will have to paint over that, and brown is not easy to cover. Just kind of stick into the sides here. I can do a little up top. And then from the other side, I'm gonna make it look like these ones are coming from this side. You can do some thicker branches, some thinner branches. Just kind of randomly place them in there. I actually don't love how thick I made that, so I just added a little water, and I'm going to dab it a little bit. Made it a little thinner. And when I'm done with my brown, I'm going to use this really nice bright red. And I do want you guys to use red for this, just so that it'll look more authentic. And right about here, so this is the middle of my paper, and halfway up from there, I'm gonna do this really slightly curved smiley line. I'm gonna go down a little bit, and I'm just gonna make this kind of a thick line. You can fill that in with your red. Then right under that one, I'm gonna add 2 lines coming down. They're not quite to the edges. I'm gonna follow that shape again and fill that in with my red. And from there, I'm going to put a little bit down on each side, not all the way to the edges again. I'm going to draw 2 straight lines down. And you can make this part curve out if you want. I'm just going to make mine kind of straight. I'm going to make that a little thicker and fill it in. Still using my bright red. I'm going to do the same on this side. And then right about here, so a little more than halfway up, I'm just gonna do my best to do a straight line, and you can see it sticks out a little on the sides. I'm gonna close that up and fill it in. And in the middle here, I'm gonna do almost a V shape. Doesn't quite touch at the bottom. I'm gonna fill that in with my red too. And then after you guys have that, you can leave your gate plain, or you can add a lantern to it. You can add a banner. I'm gonna add a little banner, and I'm just gonna do a little banner of cherry blossoms. So I'm just doing little flowery shapes. And if you want to imagine a smile here, a smiley line, I'm just going to follow that imaginary line. And then whatever other details you guys want that I don't have, you can feel free to add those. And then I'm going to switch to my little detail brush and start using black. So if you guys are going to use a black marker for this part, I want you to wait until your whole picture is completely dry, just because it'll be a lot easier to draw on it that way. And then with our black, right above the top of our gate, I'm going to draw 2 lines on each corner, sticking out a little. And I'm going to connect them. And this is going to follow the same curve that the top of my gate already has. And I'm going to fill that in with my medium brush. If you want to use your tiny brush or your marker for this, that's up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. I just want you guys to be very careful if you're using black paint, just because it does not come off. Like the way I kind of patted that brown off when I didn't like that I had it there. The black you can't do the same with. Once it's there, it's there. So we've got that. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of black on the bottom of my gate here. And same on the other side. And I'm going to switch back to my tiny brush. outline. I'm only outlining my gate. I'm not outlining my grass or my trees because I really just want this part to stand out. Do the same thing here. In the middle of this one, I'm going to add an extra line. And if you guys can see right there where it looks kind of grainy, I just didn't have enough water on my brush. So I get more water, more paint. It smooths it out a little. Outline this part. And in the middle here, you can add a shape if you want. You can add whatever you want in there. I'm just going to add a little upside down triangle and fill that in. I'm going to bring this to a V shape here. I'm going to outline this next. I'm going to outline the sides of my gate, and I'm going to make sure I don't crisscross over what I just outlined here. I want it to look like this part is in front of this part. So just be careful there not to run right through that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to stop when I get to here, and then I'm going to continue down there. And then with my little flower banner I have here, I'm just going to outline a little flowery shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to connect each flower on the side to that corner. I'm going to pick up my brush, connect each flower. You can see I'm not running right through the flowers. Just connect them all. And then if there are any details that you guys want on your picture that I don't have on mine, you can feel free to pause me and do that now. And then when you are all done, sign your work. I hope you guys really enjoyed this lesson. If you did, feel free to hit like and subscribe. And I just wanted to show you, these are both mine, they're both pretty different. If you were to go to Japan and see different torii gates, they would also look different in real life. And I just want you guys to keep in mind, your art is not going to look like mine, it's not going to look like your friends, and that's so awesome that it can all be different and still all be beautiful. If you want to have your parents help you send in pictures of your art, I love to see what you guys create. And if you have any suggestions of things that you really want to learn to paint or draw, feel free to leave that in the comments below, and you might see that soon. And I'll see you next time.